Hello everyone, it's Laura here from makingcardsisfun.com, and it's time for another Saturday Stamp Day card and video. Today I am using the Milo's ABC stamp set from Lawn Fawn. This is just such a fun and playful alphabet stamp set, and I'm going to stamp a greeting that I created using the stamp set on some Canson watercolor paper. This measures 2.5 inch by 4. And I mounted the sentiment onto my Fisker stamp press, and this one says, "Hooray, happy birthday 85. So I'm making this card for someone who is turning 85. So I'm going to ink up my stamp using archival jet black ink from Ranger. This is just a really great waterproof ink that you can use with watercolors or distress markers. I'm going to temporarily adhere this piece of paper onto my craft sheet using some removable adhesive. You all know that I love watercolors, so of course I'm going to do some more watercoloring again. I am using the Simply Art watercolor palette, and first I'm going to add lots of water onto my paper using my paintbrush and some water. First, I'm going to use the light blue over here, and I'm using a lot of water. So I'm just kind of dropping my paint onto my paper, and I'm just going to let the water do its work. So I'm not really going to blend and all of that stuff. Okay, so now I'm using some of the green. And as you can see, I use this color a lot. I'm actually running out of the green color because I use it so much. And then I'm also going to use this color. It's like a mint, but a very bright mint. Almost like, well, it's actually more green than a mint color, I guess. Okay, it seems that my removable adhesive isn't strong enough. So I'm just going to use my regular Tombow Mono adhesive, and I'm going to add it onto my craft sheet, and then I can just rub it off when I'm done. Okay, now I'm going to add some droplets of water just to blend everything together very nicely. There we go. Okay, so the watercolor piece is completely dry, and now I'm going to use this fun balloon stencil. This is from the Sims Stamp Balloon and Patterns stencil set. So you get 4 of these tiny little stencils that you can use on cards, but also on like Project Life, I think. Okay, so I'm going to temporarily adhere my watercolor piece onto my work surface, and I'm using some washi tape, but you can also use just like painter's tape. I'm just going over the greeting with some flour. You can also use a powder bag or a Martha Stewart powder tool. Just doing this for the clinginess when I emboss. Okay, there we go. So I'm going to position the stencil in the center of the piece of watercolor paper, and then I'm going to use some more of that washi tape to attach the stencil to my paper and work surface. Over here I have some white ink. This is the Frost White ink from Colorbox. And I'm also using a mini ink blending tool. So I'm going to ink up the blending tool with the white ink, and I'm going to apply the ink on the stencil, on my paper, using the stencil for a fun balloon shape. And I'm going to apply this ink quite heavily. And you don't have to worry that you're not going to see the greeting anymore, because I'm going to do something later on, and then you are able to see the sentiment again. There we go. So now I'm going to use some neutral ultra shimmer embossing powder from Wow. This is just a really beautiful clear glitter embossing powder. I'm going to sprinkle that on. And then I'm going to use my heat tool to heat set the embossing powder. Over here I have a standard size A2 card that I cut out of some Nina 110 pound cardstock. And then I also have a piece of beautiful patterned paper. This one is from the Summer Lovin' paper pad from Cartabella. So I'm going to cut this to 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. But I just want like the zigzag to be in the center of the card. So I'm going to I'm going to take a pencil and then I'm just putting my card in the center. So I'm just centering that, and then I'm going to use my pencil just to draw some little ticks so I see where I need to cut. There we go. And now I can just follow these tiny little lines as a guide. Okay, so I'm going to adhere this onto the card using my Tombow Mono adhesive. So now I'm going to adhere the piece of watercolored cardstock onto a piece of vellum using some dimensional adhesive. The piece of vellum is just slightly larger than the watercolored piece. Okay, and then I'm going to adhere this piece, the vellum piece, onto the card using some glossy accents because it's such a strong adhesive actually. So I'm just kind of adding that. I just finished off my card by adhering some sequins. I used pre-pink Posh sequins and I used the 846, the 8, 4 and 6 sparkling clear sequins, and I also used the 6 and the 4 silver metallic sequins. And I adhered them using my EK Success tweezers and then also some glossy accents as an adhesive. So that finishes up the card for this week's Saturday STEM Day card and video. All of the supplies I used are linked in the video description below, and you can also visit my blog for more details. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll be back next week. Bye!